Hello and welcome to the 43rd Everybody Dice podcast, where today we've got the really fun topic to tackle of who is the best gamer out of us three. So expect there to be a couple of arguments a bit later on. I am Steve, and today I am joined by...
Darryl.
Ian.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
I thought you were going to go first, but okay.
You always go first.
I just assumed you might have taken over the secondary.
I'm gonna. Do you want to try again? I'll eat a mince pie whilst you start again.
No,
why are you eating a
don't
mince
want
pie?
to try again. No.
It's mince pie time.
Oh god, it's September, mate. That is way too early. Oh, let's just get on.
Start.
I'm so
Yeah.
upset right now.
Yeah.
Well,
How are you guys anyway?
I was better until he said that.
they're satisfied with the crumbly texture of the pastry. That's how I am.
Are these the Sainsbury's bakery mince pies?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the first instance of Ian's mince pie reviews this year.
Am I doing
did
these
them
live?
last time.
Am I doing these live now?
I mean, you can do.
Okay. No, I've got to buy more mince pies. What a problem. Should we crack on?
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit about what's been going on our YouTube page recently. We recently released another review. So our Cosmic Encounter Duel review is now live on the website. So we're slowly working our way through the ones which we didn't get to review during lockdown because we couldn't play them. So yeah, if you want to head on over to the YouTube channel and find that, it's a really neat game, and I think you'll enjoy the review of it too. Okay, on that, shall we talk about what we've been playing?
We can talk about what we've been playing.
Okay, let's do just that then. Okay, first up, Ian, I believe you have actually played Wings of Glory this time.
Yes. We played the World War II version of Wings of Glory. Me and Jay bought the Battle of Britain starter pack, and Andy unleashed his Americans in a freeway game. We did like the starter game just to learn the rules. Fairly easy, simple, straightforward, nice to learn. We didn't do any of the altitude stuff. We just focused on sort of the basic game. But yeah, it's just good fun.
Did you say that you actually learned and played it in about 15 minutes?
Yeah, we took one game to learn all the rules, and from there, like the basic rules, simple. Yeah. After that, I went downstairs and bought a bigger plane. And brought that.
Which plane?
It's a Heinkel plane.
Okay.
Heinkel, a HE111, I think it was. No, I don't think it was a Heinkel. I will come back to you with what it was. Oh, it's a Dornier Do 17 is what it was. It's like a light bomber, but it's got like loads of firing arcs and stuff. It's crazy. It's fun.
Okay. Yeah. So you've played the World War I one, haven't you?
No,
Before?
I have not.
No, it's just me.
Okay, so have you actually played both of them, Darryl?
No, I haven't actually played the World War II one. I was. It's just so difficult to get hold of the stuff at the moment. To try and find a set and stuff, and I know we were talking about it, but everyone just sort of played World War One. I know we played the event with me and Andy did, I think it was, but yeah, I spoke to Andy and he said it seems just as fun. So I'm not sure what everyone was sort of saying when they were like, "Oh, World War Two's not as great," but yeah, I'd be really interested. The only way up from here is triplods versus triplanes.
Yeah, I've been thinking
biplanes
about that
even.
a
Sorry.
lot.
I really like the look of that. It's very like World War sort of one planes versus World of Worlds. Yeah, it looks very good fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's going to be the next instalment.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've been sort of half looking at that as well. So
So hopefully sometime soon we can bring you some sort of comparison once we've all well, once at least one of us has had a bit of a go on both.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
All of us have either played one or the other, but not both. So.
Andy, sorry, just quickly. Andy said there was something about refueling. Is that an interesting thing or not really?
We didn't touch on it when we played, so I imagine that's like an extended rule that we'll look at next time.
Okay, that's quite cool.
Yeah, it's all the games ended with German victory.
Oh, wow.
I rule currently in complete control of the skies over Britain. The first practice game ended with a Spitfire completely maiming one of my Messerschmitts, whilst my Messerschmitt took out another Spitfire in very, very quick outmaneuvering circles, and then it became a 2-on-1, and yeah, from there it was game over for that little Spitfire. And then we did all the Germans versus a combined British American retaliation. Yeah, that was good as well. The American, the Thunderbolt plane is real tough. It lasted all the way to the end of the game, just like taking hits, killing Messerschmitts. But yeah, it's a fun game. It's nice and simple. It's one of those where we had 15 minutes at the end. We got all of the planes we needed out and did a 1v1v1. And it was just so easy to set up. It's just, didn't take any time at all. It was really good.
So, am I right in thinking it's using counters now rather than damage deck, or is it still the deck?
Yeah, no, it's counters.
Okay, so how does that work then with the... Do you still draw like random like conditions and stuff, or not so much?
Yes, yeah. It's very much like Quacks of Quedlinburg, in that you got like a mystery bag style thing, and you just pick randomly. So, say you fight against my Messerschmitt, so there's like a bunch of different types of damage. There's A, B, C, D. Might be E. But my Messerschmitt, for example, does 1 A and 2 Cs at close range.
Right. Okay.
And then, like, I don't know, the Spitfire does 2 Bs or something like that. And you reach into the bag and just take 2, and they could say 0 on, or they could say your pilot's dead.
Yeah, okay. That's cool.
So that's a bit like tanks, isn't it? A little bit.
It's dice rolls with tanks, isn't it? And there's like damage card deck.
Drawing, isn't it?
Yeah, there was, yeah. Because it was like
for the random damage.
Yeah, it's less like tank, so it's not like anything I've played before. Sort of randomly drawing the damage, but oh man, Jay, like, he had stacks and stacks of damage on his Hurricane, and like, we were just looking at him, and after a while, I went, "Do you want me to take all the zeros out so that the pot doesn't get empty?" And we're like, "No, don't put them back in the pot." And he'd already done it because it just meant we're going to draw more zeros. But he had, I don't know, 14 different counters on his Hurricane. He put 10 of them back in the box.
That's crazy.
This is that's unbelievable.
It's actually mental.
All right. Shall we move on?
Yes.
Because the next thing I've got on our list here is me and Ian played some Monstrocity.
Yes.
With our friend Leon.
Yes.
This was interesting because at first glance at it, it looks very much like a kid's game. I mean, a lot of the aesthetic to it, and it's a really chaotic game as well. It just seemed like that was trying to appeal to younger kids. I don't think you would ever actually want to play it, though, with younger children. Because there's... Okay, so the idea of the game is each of you have a rampage-style monster. You have a board, which is built up like a city, so you've placed buildings. I think it's is it a 3x3 grid, I think, of housing blocks?
Yes, it is.
And the idea is you have to flatten the city. There are various things like turrets on some of the buildings, which are going to do additional damage to you. And also there are police spawning on the map. The more police that are out, the more damage they're going to do to you and stuff. The game is just simply about moving your monster around the map into opportune positions and then rolling 4 dice. You then have to resolve all 4 dice rolls, and you do have to resolve all of them. You're not allowed to not do one. you have to resolve the damage first. So you have the turrets doing damage and you have the police do damage. You'll only get damage by turrets if you're in a block on or adjacent to another block with turrets on them. The police always do damage to you, so it's just constant damage all the time, but it tends to be a bit less than the turrets. You're kind of like given 2 minutes to go nuts. So you roll your 4 dice, you resolve them all, you pick them up, you roll them again, and it just carries on, and you get as much in as you can until the 2-minute time is up, basically. It's difficult in that you have to make sure you explain everything straight away, because
once you get going, it's hectic, and you need to know exactly what's going on, because you're basically left for 2 minutes by yourself doing all the things.
So if you have someone asking you, "Oh, what does this mean?" or something like that, all of a sudden you kind of like, your person who knows all the rules is probably going to be there going, "I don't have time to explain it to you," and we'll carry on rolling, because it's kind of mental. You do have these little reminders to let you know how much damage all the buildings can take, but there's no reference sheet to show what all the die faces mean. So if someone forgets what one of them means or what they can do with it, that can cause a few problems. So you've got to make it really clear before the game happens exactly what it all means, and hope that everyone understands it. There are a couple of other little things that are going to both help and hinder you. There are these event cards. So you've got 3 different types. You've got event cards, which always happen at the end of every single round. You have reinforcement cards, which you have a threat level of the city, where the turrets get more powerful over time, depending on how much threat there is on the city. The higher the threat is, the more likely you'll have to draw more reaction cards and reinforcement cards. So every time the threat moves past a certain square with one or the other on, you draw from those decks. The reinforcements tend to be events that help you. The reaction cards tend to be things which are going to harm you in some way. Sometimes they'll heal buildings, sometimes they'll do direct damage to your various monsters, and they can also reduce your rage, which if you get to max rage at any point, your monster has a unique ability that they can launch into, and it does a terrific amount of damage. Iain's was just flattening things. He kind of like did damage to every single square around him, so if he could center himself around a number of different things and then just try to build up his rage and hit them constantly, it would do massive damage. My guy jumped onto a building from up to 3 spaces away and did damage to it. I'm not sure what Leon's was. I really don't know.
Was it the Rhino?
I can't remember now. It was the Rhino, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember
but
what the ability
remember
was.
What he did.
No.
Yeah, but yeah, it was it didn't really have a lot to it, but it was kind of fun.
It's not a good game, but it was a fun game, is, I think, the conclusion I made at the end.
Yeah, I think it's the conclusion that we all kind of came to on it. It's certainly like a bit... It's weird to say it's too straightforward when there's a lot that the players have to retain in order to know what to do. So in other words, you need that information of what's happening on the dice. If you've got that, then the game is just way too simple. It's kind of... I mean, it's obvious that it seems like the tactic is to destroy all the buildings with the turrets on first so that they're not going to do damage to you later.
Sort of easier said than done.
Smash everything else, basically. I mean, we were successful with it, but only in the last round.
Yeah.
So we'd flattened the entire city, but with 30 seconds to go, I think, in the last round.
I think it was less than that, wasn't it?
No, I think it was about 30 seconds or something, I think, if I remember correctly from looking at it. But, yeah, for playing it for the first time, it felt comfortable. The event cards are the things which change things up a bit and make you do things a little bit differently, because they can do things like slap generators on the field, which make buildings immune to damage. So you have to take out all of the generators before you can actually start attacking buildings again. There were some things that prevent you from gaining or using your rage ability and stuff. So, like I say, there are other things that will distract you from actually smashing the buildings. You want to keep the police under control, because once they're all on the field, they deal pretty huge damage consistently. So, yeah, it's kind of like one of these things of, once you know how to play the game, it's probably going to be quite simple each time you play it. There is an enhanced mode that I have to look at, which has different weapons that do different things. But I certainly wouldn't recommend jumping straight into the enhanced mode with people that are new to the game, because there's enough that you have to memorize anyway without having to think about the different kinds of turrets and what damage they're doing. But anyway, yeah, that was Monstrocity. We are going to be doing a full review of that sometime, so expect to see that in the future. Okay, we will go back to Iain now, who played some X-Wing as well.
Yeah, I played some X-Wing with Jay and some X-Wing with Andy, and the same day we were playing Wings of Glory. I don't think there's a huge amount to say. I have basically rebought all the Mandalorian Fang fighters because my ones didn't rotate around the axis, and that was upsetting me a lot. So I played with 3 of those against 3 X-Wings that Jay had, like fully upgraded. He was annihilated slightly. It was a bit embarrassing. Like, every dice roll I made was like perfect. I think it wasn't helped by the fact that Mandalorian fights are pretty good, but yeah,
the dice were with you as well.
The dice were very with me, and the dice were very not with him.
Yeah,
even with Wedge, who I think stops you doing certain things with dice. It was just, yeah, it was one of those games where, like, you're getting towards the end, and I feel like I should apologise, but it's just, I think, mostly the dice. I also played a game where he had 4 TIE fighters and I had a couple of Arc 170 starfighters. That was pretty good as well. I just had to keep flying in formation, so I got the buffs from Senka and Wolf, I think I was using. Yeah, again, that was a bit closer game. And then I played Andy CIS later on, which was a bit of a mismatch of whatever he had to hand. Yeah, that ended with a Mandalorian victory, but not as ruthless as the last one. I think both my Mandalorian fighters had like 2 health left at the end, and then the other one was completely destroyed. It was like facing off against Darth Maul at the end was quite cool. Yeah, it was good fun. Normal X-Wing stuff, nothing. So the only new ship that got played was Andy was using his I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the new Geonosian ship. It's got like a turret, and it's got quite an interesting firing arc. It's like not a sort of spread firing arc; it's a direct firing arc. So there were points where, like, I would usually get buffs with my Mandalorians for being in your firing arc that I wasn't in the firing arc. So yeah, it was interesting and different.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, Darryl.
Hello.
You, I believe, have Marvel Champions to talk a bit about.
Yeah, I think I'll keep it brief because everyone knows my opinion on this game. But I would say I've reached a turning point in my relationship with Helen. She didn't get she last time I tried to get her to play this game, she started playing it and went, I don't like this. There's too many words on these cards. What do you mean when I rotate this it's exhausted? Stuff like that. So those kind of concepts are a little bit foreign to her because, you know, I guess she doesn't play a lot of card games. So I said, let's try it again. Come on, we'll give it a go. This time I let her pick her characters. So rather than basically start with like any of the starter set, or the ones I think they make you kind of begin the game with to sort of try it is Captain Marvel and Spider-Man because they're kind of easier to play. I gave her the option to play as any of the characters I have, and she picked 4. Um, 4 is pretty much just a smash everything, take on people head on, get buffed for it, smash everything.
Right.
So you know how like when you're playing with more people, it ups the ante depending on like the health and stuff. So it'll do the health extra for the villain, and it'll do more scheming because it's per person. So obviously we had to smash through like 28 health, and then I think it was like 32 health. We get to sort of the first part of taking down the Rhino, and I thought, oh, she's gonna get bored now. She literally goes, oh, I've got a good hand. I got so proud with her because she actually triggered like a full-on thing where basically because she had one thing, discarded 2 lightning cards, did something else, it created this ridiculous fight, and I was so proud. And it was like there was like almost like a tear coming down my eye. She did like something stupid like 12 damage in one turn, and I was just like, I'm so proud of you.
My first combo.
Pretty much, yeah. I was so proud because she's like, wait a minute, I've just realised if I tap this, exhaust this, do this, spend these 2
Wait,
to do
was she
this.
using the language as well?
Yeah. She got like really into
that's
it.
amazing.
And I was just there going, oh my god, I'm actually going to complete a game with her, which is way more, more of an achievement than anything else. And it got really touch and go because I kept drawing. I was playing Captain America, and Captain America is very much a leadership thing, and his skill is pretty much anyone with an Avengers name in their title. He's very good at bringing them sort of back up, so that he'll just keep bringing them up, rallying them. I can spend cards to keep activating him, so I can keep hitting. Stuff like that. I give less cost for certain cards as well, so. Because she had Avenger cards and I had Avenger cards, it meant we could really like kind of work the system of bringing out allies. I could bring allies back from the graveyard type thing. So it was stuff like that. So I concentrated. So this was what was really funny. I got stunned from an early start, but because I wasn't attacking, it didn't bother me. I just kept thwarting the scheme. So she got confused, which means she couldn't thwart. So basically, we were confused and stunned. But because she was hitting the whole time and I was just doing the scheme, stopping the schemes, it never actually affected us at all. And she kept like being really unlucky, drawing the bad cards. It would bring more people to her. But because the way 4 works is as soon as someone engages him, he draws 2 cards and gets buffed basically. So every time she drew a minion, it just came to her. She went, cool. She kept drawing cards. Right, I smash him. It was like I was just sat there going, oh my god. Anyway, that was it. Basically, we did the game. I then was like, oh, so we played the basic game. And she went, all right. And I was like, there's another stage to the Rhino. And I was like obviously, there's Ultron is the main boss of that set. And I was saying like he's on something stupid like I think it's like 36 health for his first form. So you are really, really having to bring him down. So we're going to try it again. I want to try and get hold of the Red Skull set, but I think it's pretty much out of stock at the moment everywhere.
It happens every time.
Yeah,
like,
I forgot
they
to
just
pre-order.
come out and stuff. They just disappear at first.
Because I know that's got a kind of continuing story type theme. And I would like interesting to see how the kind of campaign works. But yeah, she seemed to quite enjoy it. So next step, Arkham Horror.
Oh wow, that would be amazing.
Okay.
Because but the thing is, like the issue I had was she's not one for like extra rules, like you say, the combos and knowing that you having that does this and tapping that and that gains you that sort of thing. Whereas with this, obviously, it's not too bad. Where I'm thinking the next step is obviously to do the Arkham Horror one because that's more of a campaign anyway, so she might enjoy that. We'll see. Yeah. But yeah, keep this posed. Oh, lovely.
All right, Leah.
Such an epic photo.
Oh, we'll put it on screen for you right now.
Oh wow! Okay, I was posted.
You can't go look at this pose from a picture that's been sent mid podcast and not show people what.
Well, I didn't say look at this pose. I intended to have that in the slot and then send it after the podcast, but it just sent. So yeah,
I feel like the only thing that would make that more epic is if you took away the foam arrows, like in Photoshop. Yeah, put some like actual arrows. I was going to see if I might ask Jordan. Yeah, I think that would look so nice.
Okay. Right, next one we won't talk about too much because we've talked about it on the podcast before, but the crew, it continues to impress us.
Hey.
There's
played more of it.
there's a
Leon.
new candidate for someone who completely doesn't understand the game but insists on playing it through anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leon was doing the same things you were doing, Darryl, which is just sort of doing stuff that 100% just ends the game there.
Well, no, it wasn't that. I drew a card that would have... I was winning. I was genuinely winning. And then it was the card was... the next person that does the thing, if you would win, loses the game. And I was like,
No.
Changed my tactics completely.
That's not the crew.
The crew?
The crew was the one where you all work cooperatively.
Oh, yeah, I like just bumming around in that.
What game were you thinking of?
Cosmic Encounters?
Oh, the review.
Yeah, sorry, that's why. I think it's fresh in my mind. Because I was thinking, because...
You won that game as well.
Yeah, I know, but that's why I was like, what are you on about? I played that perfectly.
Yeah, but the crew is just...
I do like
man, that's one of the best games that's been released in the last couple of years, I think.
It's such a good game.
Yeah, it's just... Again, we got to much about the same point that we got to when all three of us played. But again, just like when it looked like there was a difficult round coming up, again, the one where no one can lose, we just got through that first time. Just had a really good run.
A bit of stress,
well.
but yeah, we got through it.
Yeah. I mean, we had a few hiccups. I think by the end of it, Leon knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah. I think the first few
had
games with new players, it is always just one of those where it's like, should this... I'm going to do this, and it just ends the game.
I think when you first play the crew, a lot of the time you see, I have that card, I can do that mission, without realising that what you actually are doing is playing a 3 card, and there is most likely going to be someone...
You're like, I can definitely win this round because I've got the card. It's not a thing.
Work that way. Yeah, it does if you've got if say the task is a blue 9, and you have the blue 9 in your hand, you've pretty much won that unless someone plays a black card. So
I think it's one of those again where we heartily recommend that game because it's fun.
Yeah, definitely. Once again, it just hasn't lost its luster. Okay, Iain. Believe you have been doing some RPGing.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. So
yes.
We're taking a break from our normal campaign, and we've done like a one shot. I think it's called Tomb of Annihilation.
Okay.
But that might be a different one. But we're all encouraged to make new level 15 characters in order to go through this sort of tomb full of traps. And yeah, we. Our new party consisted of a super up and down, straight talking paladin, a halfling rogue with a penchant for throwing daggers, and international rock star with a penchant for having sex.
Right. Okay.
So I can't remember the name of the paladin, and I honestly can't remember the name of the rogue. But I was playing Maximilian Ignatius Eagles, or Max Eagles, internationally acclaimed rock star warlock bard. His gimmick being that whenever he starts playing his keytar/guitar/violin combo instrument, infested by a sex demon from another realm, spawns random musicians to play the backing elements. So Sean had like a list of random musicians that just appeared whenever I started casting spells. So like someone would come around the corner and I'd be like, I'm going to cast this spell, and I'd start playing a riff on the guitar, and then suddenly Ringo Starr appears behind me playing the drums, and like Vanya from what's it called? Umbrella Academy starts playing the violin, and it's just like random musicians just spawn in to make an impromptu band.
That's so cool.
From different dimensions and realities. It was it was brilliant. At one point, we had apparently in one episode of Balamori, Archie the inventor creates like a drum machine, and at one point he came in playing drum and bass backlines for the band. It made every interaction with anyone super surreal, because it's like every boss had like a boss fight soundtrack. But it was good fun. The game started with us meeting our current characters and accepting like a quest from the half elf Quit, who basically sent us to the Tomb of Annihilation. He was looking for hardened heroes. He got 2 hardened heroes and a rock star who saw the advert looking for hardened heroes on someone's mantelpiece that he'd just slept with, and decided that defeating a demi-lich in the Tomb of Annihilation, if someone were to draw that would make an awesome album cover. So, yeah, I hired an artist and took 10, or I think it's 6 or 10 or 8 or something like that, groupies with me, and we went to the Tomb of Annihilation and we started doing stuff. But I'll probably leave the rest of that for now, because it's supposed to be a one-shot, but we didn't quite get to the end. So we've got about 2/3 of the way through. So I'll give you the tales of exactly what happened. All I know for sure is that I missed the chance to get Maximilian Ignatius Eagles a sex change, and I'm furious about it.
Wow. Okay, so I suppose the tale behind that will come next time.
Wow. Yeah, he's pretty bummed to not get a chance to give his lady bits a test drive.
Oh, God.
Okay.
It was supposed to be a trap, and I was like, that's not a trap, that's a result!
Okay. Let's then move on. The last thing we've got to talk about is, again, me, Ian, and Leon play Tournament at Avalon. A quick explanation of what Tournament at Avalon is. It's another trick-taking game, so it plays much in the same way as the Crew, but this one is a competition. So the idea is you have a certain amount of health. Everyone picks a character which has their own unique power that they can trigger at various times during the game. They also have a secondary power that isn't active straight away. It only becomes active as they start losing health. So the idea is once one person dies in combat, you then see who has the most health left, and that person is declared the winner. So it's played over a series of rounds. So in this instance, the loser takes all the cards in the middle and forms a hit pile. And at the end of each round, they'll total those up and then adjust their health. So hits aren't adjusted on the fly. There's always a set point after you've played a number of hands. Then you work out how much damage everyone has. There are different types of damage. Most cards generally just do 5 damage to your character, and every character starts off with 400 health. Poison cards do 10 damage, and there are also special cards in there that can do things like 10 damage, 25 damage. They tend to be the real big hitters in there. The powers are quite unbalanced in it, so it has a real take that kind of element. And the game we played was, well, after the first round,
I was furious.
there was a lot of salt round.
I was furious.
Yeah, there was a lot of like, I think my character had an ability where any card showing arrows on that made their way onto my hit pile, I could just redistribute among everyone else around the table and not take damage from them. So there was this whole thing of just, if I got any arrows, I would just use them to hurt everyone else kind of thing. So that was a ridiculously unbalanced power. So yeah, I think I still took a lot of damage in the first round, but Ian took the brunt of damage after round 1.
I was like less than half health.
Yeah, and you were really not happy about it at all.
Yeah, I felt pretty wronged, but I did misunderstand the concept of the game at that point. I think I thought it was going to be shorter than it was, so I felt like we had a game, and I was out of it very early, and then that was sort of it. I didn't feel like I had a chance to do anything.
thing is, then the real beauty of Tournament at Avalon came in, which is whoever is the most injured gets to take these Godsend cards, which again give you yet more powers. They only last through the next round, and then you have to discard and redraw Godsend cards. But then in the next round, I can't remember what powers it was that you drew from doing that, but it pretty much
I had one
swung
that
in the
blocked
complete
arrow
other direction.
damage.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
was...
that's right. So Leon was the only person that could take arrow damage or something, but then he drew a card.
It blocked all arrow damage coming to me and doubled arrow damage going to other people.
Yeah, but I could readjust arrow cards.
Yeah.
And Leon drew a location, I think it was, because that was part of his character's ability. And he could only take hits from cards that he was forced to take. So in other words, any powers that sent extra damage his way, he just wouldn't take, or something like that. So it meant arrow cards were basically useless for the entire round, because no one could take damage from arrow cards. So you get really wacky things happen over the course of the game. I mean, I got absolutely battered in the next round. And
I got another card that doubled sword damage, didn't it?
I think that might have been what really cut me. I think
I could play poison as any suit, and sword damage was doubled. And I didn't take any damage that round, and I just dished out loads.
But that's what was really cool about Tournament at Avalon, the fact that, like you said, you were really unhappy that you'd taken so much damage, but then it became very clear that this means you get more powers, and all of a sudden you had a ridiculous combination of cards on your side of the table.
Yeah.
And I mean, this carried on. I think we went through 3 rounds, at which point I died. But again,
I think it was the 4th.
It might have been the 4th round, possibly. But at the end of it, I think I entered a round with 15 health left, or something like that. And Leon just happened to draw a card at the beginning of a round that said, all his opponents take an automatic 10 damage. So I had 5 health left. I had as little health at the beginning of the round as I possibly could have. So I was going to die that round. There was no two ways about that. However, I had a card that said I could move the hit decks at the end of the game. So I could either choose to move them all to the left or to the right.
The way the game worked, that was just, you could choose who irritated you the least during that game and pick who wins. It was horrendous.
So I've got to admit, I think Leon played into this as well, because he knew what I was doing as well.
No, he didn't.
I made sure.
He didn't know what you were doing, because
towards
the end, he was like, I can't believe I've lost this after being ahead. And we're like, no, mate, Steve is going to move all that damage onto me. You're fine. And he was like, oh, nice.
But yeah, I'd done stuff to make sure that Leon was taking the majority of the damage, because I knew I could then switch everything and move it onto Iain, who was, at that point, he was in the lead. It wasn't by much. It was like
about
by
20,
maybe, or something like that. It really wasn't much, but I knew that although I was going to die, I 100% could be Kingmaker. So I kind of just went down that route. And by the end of the game, I was the one that out and out lost that, and I had a lot of fun with this game, despite losing. Again, this is another one that we're going to be reviewing again in the future, so by all means keep an eye out for that. And you turned the corner on it, didn't you, Iain?
Yeah, I again, I misunderstood. From the very outset of the game, I felt like I was in a position that there was literally nothing I could do. And then, because all the abilities and stuff change every round, it completely changes the game round to round, which makes it really exciting, because whoever's in the lead at the beginning, it means it's meaningless.
It is, yeah. I don't think it's possible to take much more damage than what you took in the first round.
No, I don't think so either.
And it just goes to show that, if it wasn't for me drawing that card at the end, you would have won that game.
I think that was literally the only thing that stopped it, because yeah, I still had strong abilities going into the last round as well. So
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, and that is everything we've been playing, I believe, unless either of you two have thought of anything else you want to add.
No, not for me, unfortunately.
No. Okay, then in that case, we head into some news.
news,
Okay.
news,
News.
News.
Nudes.
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 News.
Well, I'm the only one on camera. So,
Yeah!
Okay, the first story that I've got on here is that Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion has just been released, and I wanted to put this into the news because it's actually quite exciting. See, one of the big problems with Gloomhaven was always the price. You're talking £120 for a board game that not everyone's willing to pay for. Jaws of the Lion can either be used as an expansion or as a standalone product, which is really cool. It still comes with 4 characters that you can use. It still has a campaign book, which you can run through with lots of different scenarios in it. You have unlockables in it, so you still have stuff that will open up once certain things have triggered in the game. You've still got your sticker sheets, which will all go across your map, all for your enjoyment, and it is at the reduced price of about £45 you can largely find it for, which is a great price for a game that is, well, it's been number 1 now on Board Game Geek for a fair while, and it knocked Twilight Struggle off the top on Board Game Geek after a ridiculous amount of time. I think this is really worth looking at, even if you don't have the original Gloomhaven and do want to try this as a standalone product. One of the really cool things is that this one actually comes with an introduction to it. So in other words, you play through the first 5 missions through the guidance of the Startup Guide, which is a really neat inclusion, because one of the things about Gloomhaven is it's quite inaccessible in that there are a hell of a lot of rules that you have to learn for it, which is quite problematic when you're talking about a legacy game where you really want to get things right. If you're building a world and characters, you don't want to have to retcon a lot of it. So this one really takes you through it very nicely. Personally, I'm going to use this to play through as a single-player campaign, and I'm going to still keep my big £120 box for whenever we finally get to have a party of people play it that are going to be available to play it, and play it regularly as well. We've just not been able to do that really, and we've already got one legacy game on the go as well, so we really want to finish up that before we start something like Gloomhaven, I imagine. But we definitely want to get on that sometime soon. But like I said, in the meantime, I'm going to hit Jaws of the Lion, I think. Have either of you guys seen any of it at all?
No, you sent me the photo of the box art type thing. It looks quite cool, but yeah, I do like the concept of sort of a single player mode that you don't need to kind of crack into the main core set.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 2 to 4 player game. Sorry, a 1 to 4 player game.
Oh, okay, so you can play
You can play it with more people. This isn't a purely single-player campaign. It's, like I say, you can play it just like regular Gloomhaven. It plays exactly the same. The difference is you don't really have the tiles which you had in the original game to be able to make loads and loads of different maps. In this one, you're actually playing off a book, so the maps are actually in the book, so your board is on there. Looks very, very cool. I cannot wait to start it, because in a single-player campaign, you still have to pick 2 characters and play through as both of them. So, yeah, that's going to be my little thing for the next 6 months or so, is just trying to play through that. Okay, Pandasaurus we're going to head to next, because they've made a couple of really cool announcements. 2 Kickstarters that apparently, according to their website, they're both starting on the 22nd of September.
Yep.
It's a continuation of their Dinosaur series. So we've gone from Dinosaur Island to Dinosaur Island, and now we have Dinosaur World. So it looks like it's going to be something about you draft resumes to acquire new workers in this one, which you then spend to take public actions to build your park. This actually sounds like it's going to be more like almost like a Euro game, I suppose, compared to the other ones. It looks bigger, most definitely. I mean, they've got to keep ramping this up.
Yeah, to be fair, like each one seems to get bigger and better, doesn't it, almost?
Yeah, and the second game they actually announced alongside it is actually the Dinosaur Island Roar and Write, which I am very interested in.
It does sound cool.
Yeah, so essentially it's a game where players are going to draft dice, and then you use those drafted dice as workers in a worker placement phase. Then a fun polyomino puzzle ensues as you try and fit all your attractions and dinosaurs into your park while building roads and routes to the exits for bonus points. So, this sounds like it's going to be kind of set on a Tetris-style grid in which you have to draw specific parts to using workers that you roll on dice, basically. I like a lot of these kind of games, and I could really use one based on the Dinosaur Island series because I really like the design on a lot of them.
Yeah.
They've got a real 80s aesthetic to them.
It has got, yeah, it's got quite a thematic thing, hasn't it? Like,
yeah, so I kind of like just the idea of having it as kind of a nice piece that we're going to draw all over. I mean, Roll and Write's a dime a dozen now in terms of the amount that are getting released, but it's nice to see this one in particular, because I like the Pandasaurus guys, and I like the Dinosaur Island series, so I'm very much looking forward to this. Darryl, you probably got excited about the Dinosaur Island series before me.
Yeah, it was another one of those things that I managed to catch at the end of its Kickstarter, and I was sort of like, oh, it looks really cool. Ironically, I've yet to still play it.
I've got Dinosaur Island.
Yeah, Dinosaur Island's the one where it can be sort of both, can't it? It can be used as a sort of add-on with the dice and stuff, or you can just play it on together, kind of thing.
It's kind of, it is a two-player game, so it's just played between two people, just in a kind of like more scaled-down version of what you had with Dinosaur Island. But I never actually got round to playing Dinosaur Island. Actually,
no, it's a weird thing. Like I have wanted to for so long, but again, I think it's just having the time. Yeah, I'm really curious with this new one. Whether again it's going to be another, like you can use it all together, and add some sort of level to the original one, or if it's going to be a kind of a case of they're going to be bringing out even more for this one. So I don't know. It's cool. I know I'm going to sort of keep an eye on it when it does actually go live because. Yes, it's going to be something. I think it's going to be quite a lot of Kickstarters coming live soon, so have to have a look for them.
Yeah, I mean, the best way you can actually boil down the Dinosaur Island series of games is it's Jurassic Park in a board game, basically. That's what this game is. I think even the logo they used for it is slightly adapted from it, I believe. So, yeah, that tells you where their influences came from. Okay. Alright then.
Alrighty then.
What do we have next? Oh, Darryl, I believe you would like to talk a little bit about Streets.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember, we did a sort of, well, Stephen did a review and we played a game called Villagers. So when we were at, it seems like ages ago now, when we were at the Board Game Expo, there was a game we all kind of like had. I know it does seem like a long time ago. When we saw this game called Villagers, we didn't get a chance to play it, but it looked really cool. Like the artwork looked really nice, the box looked really neat. It was a very sort of neat little package. We've all sort of had a good go on it, and we've all kind of said positive things. I know you were a bit not so keen on the single player mode.
Yeah, that was the one thing that
Yeah,
I wasn't very keen on.
but overall, as like a kind of 2 to 4 player kind of game, it's really really good. So I spotted the other day that they announced that there is a kind of modern sequel in a way to it. Villagers was kind of set in a very old time, kind of almost I don't want to say like it's like Holland almost, isn't it? 'Cause it's like that kind of level
Yeah.
of sort of detail to it. So basically, with Villagers, you had different villagers that you kind of would buy into your villages, and each one will sort of give you points that allow you to do other things. So some would have keys, etc., etc. So what they've done with this one is it's now based on streets. So like there's shopping centres, there's restaurants, there's malls, stuff like that. So they've done it in a way now where it's kind of you're building up this kind of empire of buildings and sort of streets and stuff like that, which then gives you money, and again you win at the end. So the difference between this one and the original one, and the one I really really like about this, is there's meeples in this one. So depending on what version you get, you always get the meeples, but the standard edition comes with sort of coloured meeples now, which again it's a bit like, I guess it's a bit like Carcassonne, where you can put them on top of a tile and it gives you a buff.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's very much sort of tackling that side of things. And again, there's ways of like kind of capping them. I was watching sort of playthrough of it. You cap it, and then like all the villagers move to another place, and then that gets more money and stuff like that. So it's sort of each little really nice. They're like sort of smaller than a beer mat style kind of card, has like extra sort of bonuses in the top of it. So like the huge mall, for instance, you get $2 per blue person on there. So obviously you could be trying to get as many people on the mall because that's a shopping centre. Again, it's very similar art style to Villagers. It's that kind of, I don't say like watercolours, but it's quite a nice kind of like pastel maybe. Everything's a little bit kind of sort of shaded. It's very nice. So I am very keen on the there's a couple of different versions with this one. So you've got the standard edition, which again, you know, it's really really nice. I think it's not actually that expensive. £23, which isn't a lot for a Kickstarter these days, I would say.
Yeah.
Again, you know, it's a smaller game. You know, you're not getting like a huge kind of box or anything like that, but it's still a very intense, good game, and there's quite a lot of components, especially the wooden components this time around. The one I'm keen on is the deluxe edition. So the deluxe edition will come with promo content, and the promo content is painted meeples. So
Oh wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So you're basically getting where'd it gone? Yeah, so all the little meeples are actually painted, and there's some really cool concepts of them because you've got like a little sort of gym dude with a beard and like a Walkman. You've got a guy with his sweater tied around his neck. There's a dude wearing like what do they call him? Like, is it Baby Bjorn? The thing with like the baby sat on the front of it. So there's some nice little sort of characters they've created, and again, you've got some extra components they've sort of done stuff. But yeah, so basically with the deluxe edition, you're going to be getting 48 full color printed wooden meeples, which is a hell of a lot of meeples.
That is, yeah.
25 screen printed wooden ownership tokens, 87 screen printed wooden money tokens, and then there's the business expansion, which you can buy separately. But they've added that as sort of an extra thing. But honestly, have a little look at it. Some of the tokens, the deluxe business tokens, look really cool. They're like kind of little sort of bubbles with like symbols on them, smiley faces, like knife and fork, stuff like that. I would definitely check it out. It is currently, well, it's got 17 days to go from this point, but when it goes out, obviously we'll have a couple more less days, and it's already absolutely smashed its goal. Its goal was 29,500 English. It's already hit 200,000. So I mean, it's a great game. It looks as well like the box is pretty much going to be very similar size, so it's nice, very compact box to take with you, quite a travel sort of thing in a way.
I think this was one of the things that I wanted to say. This isn't a direct sequel to Villagers.
No, it's not. It's more of a spiritual modernization in a way.
I mean, it's something you could get quite confused with when you actually see the two boxes
100%.
together, because they are very, very similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is its own game. I
Yeah,
believe.
so one of the interesting things about it is they're actually doing it's called, there's a pledge which is a bit more, £53 English. It's streets and villages, so you're getting both, because they've obviously still got, villages is still in production, so it's quite a nice one if you don't have the original to get both of them. They've got like all the standard upgrades. You're still getting, your Kickstarter exclusives. So there's like some different upgrade cards. They've got fabric money bags, different artwork. So that's all been added. But it's nice to see that it's kind of it's kind of nice to see that they're doing the kind of the right thing and kind of not making it all about pledge, get more, more, more. It's quite a nice low tier game. I'm quite, I think I'm going to back this one, because obviously I like to wait to the end. But yeah, I will back it because we had a great time on the last one.
Yeah, cool. Right, I have one more story that I want to talk about, because after 30 years of seemingly laying dormant, a web page has popped up. HeroQuest.avalonhill.com.
Wow.
And all there is at the moment is a countdown timer.
Nice.
That's all we have at the moment. There is no information available about what exactly this is. But, this is very much a game that was a big part of kids' childhoods over the 80s and early 90s. And it's one of those things that a lot of people have been clamouring for a re-edition of. Because it's quite an expensive game to actually buy now, especially if you can find it complete. There's a lot of listings on eBay, and most of the time they'll be missing a couple of pieces or things like that. But yeah, is this going to be an announcement as to a re-edition of HeroQuest? Because, of course, Games Workshop have been really, making an effort with the buy-in-the-box kind of games recently. And this could be them finally giving in and releasing something for nostalgia reasons. By the time this podcast goes out, there will be 3 days still on the clock. So we'll have to keep an eye on this one and see what exactly it is. It may not even be a board game. It might be a video game adaptation of it. Possibly. We just don't know. But it's such an important game that, we really need to keep an eye on this. Do you guys have any thoughts on HeroQuest at all?
The only thing that always enters my mind with HeroQuest is the Mimi videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I always remember.
Yeah, the one which always sticks out to me is the what's his name? It's Bardic something.
Yeah.
And he did his whole thing of why HeroQuest is awesome.
Yeah.
Video.
That's the one great. I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, watch this space. I've given you the website. You can keep an eye on it yourselves. But I'm sure on the next podcast we'll cover what exactly this was. Okay. We do not have any audience questions this week. But if you would like to send us one, it can be on anything at all. Doesn't have to be board game related. Send them to mailbag@everybodydice.com, or just throw us a tweet or something like that, and we will answer your question on this next show. Okay, so all that leaves is for us to hit our big topic.
And the answer is...
It's me.
A chocolate bar with nuts and it's really big.
I'm the best board gamer.
No.
It's me.
It's not.
Okay, hang on, because at first I have to acknowledge our patrons, who always vote on our topic. This month they had the choice between, do you have a favourite board game publisher? If so, why? What's the most unusual place you've ever played a game? And who out of the three of you is the best board gamer? And as you can imagine from what Ian's already been saying, Who out of the three of you is the best board gamer? One. And if you would like to help shape what we talk about on this podcast, you can do by visiting patreon.com/everybodydice. And for as little as $1 a month, you can help choose this, as well as which game we review each month. And we've got a Discord channel as well, and our famous audio newsletter. I don't know how famous it really is, but
I'd like to think it's global.
Yeah, I'd like to think so too. But maybe one day we'll get special guests such as, I don't know, Pitbull maybe on there.
Yeah, I think Kesha.
I don't know.
I think Kesha. She's got some interesting stories. I'm sure she'd. I reckon she plays a mean risk.
Yeah. Anyway, if you, I feel like this is, I mean, like maybe one day, but in the meantime, you could get on board with the audio podcast or audio newsletter before it gets cool.
Okay, get in early.
Yeah. So, who out of the three of us is the best board gamer?
Now, this is a very broad question, because are we saying in general or in individual classes? Because if it's wargaming and miniatures, 100% Ian.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. And I'm going to say, in terms of the best board gamer, in terms of knowledge and stuff like that, it's Steve. In terms of actual win rate, I think it's me. In terms of who you'd want to play against, it's Darryl.
Only because now the reason why he says that is because of his win rate, and the only reason why is because I give you that win rate. So you're
so garbage that it's like an amateur boxer fighting Manny Pacquiao once every week and just like racking up his win rate.
Oh boy. Well, I do genuinely tend to find that usually when we do play a board game, Ian usually comes out winning. You have a pretty high win rate, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it's skill. I think a lot of it's luck.
I think this is kind of like, it's going to be a mixture of things. Like, the thing is you have to remember that a lot of the time as well, people make their own luck as well. But it is, like you say, sometimes when it involves drawing the exact right thing at the right time. I think there's been a couple of occasions where you have done that. But at the same time, I think it's more than that. I don't think it's just a matter of luck, I don't think. Would that be fair?
I would say I'm as lucky as I am skilled when it comes to board gaming.
That's it.
That there are certain games that I go into it with a tactic and I win because of it, and there are certain games I go into it the first time and just somehow win.
Yeah, but well, I think there's a lot of games that you have. I don't think you've ever lost at Quacks of Quedlinburg.
I have never lost at Quacks of Quedlinburg.
You've got a 100% win rate at that.
And same with Mega City Oceania. Same with Men at Work. Men at Work, I've never made a mistake.
But that is like 100% skill based.
Yeah, got a pretty good win rate at what's it called? The Flicky Doodah game.
Crocodile.
Yeah, got pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm legit thinking of hitting the pro scene at Crocodile.
I feel like you should.
Yeah.
I'd definitely be a cheerleader, or I can be your buffer. He's completely never lost.
You can be my
powder guy, fluffer.
Well, that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say like he can be the ringer. He can go in and be like,
really fix the, and then Steve can can bet on it, be the bookie. We could really absolutely smash
book
this.
me versus Darryl. And, like Darryl could actually try, and I'd still probably. I don't think I've ever lost to you, Darryl.
I like the
I've
idea.
lost to Steve.
I like the idea that you throw the first round, so everyone's like, bet on Darryl, bet on Darryl, bet on Darryl, high, bet on him, high. You know, and then like as soon as you just literally
price it. Prices for Darryl are high. Buy in Darryl. Buy Darryl.
We'll just run a couple of con games where we'll just make Darryl look really good, and then when it comes down to the nitty gritty, we'll just fleece people.
That'd be so good.
Oh dear. But yeah, let's shift this here. Darryl, how do you feel about being the person that people like to play against?
I accept that, because to be honest with you, Like, I'm a great laugh, so I think that's what it is. People like playing with me more than they like winning.
I don't know whether you're just an idiot
Wow.
or whether you just lose concentration or whether you just don't try.
I think it's a combination of the second two with a slight dash of the first one. like a sprinkling of idiot. No, like, to be fair, I think it does depend on the game. There are some games where I would say I probably perform better in.
Yeah.
And it
I mean, I wouldn't want to play you at a card game that's not Pokemon.
Yeah, so there are certain games I will play that I guess I understand the mechanics slightly more and I enjoy them. For instance, that Cosmic Encounter, I really enjoyed that, but I also liked the randomness of it. So I think sometimes that really fits the style of play. I do also kind of like, I don't know, I think I have to be in the proper zone. Like Bang, there's been some serious Bang games that I can remember. And but then
I don't think I've ever played a Bang game where I've considered you a threat.
I don't know. There was that one where you literally flipped the table. Well, you didn't flip the table.
That wasn't you. That was Steve.
Yeah, but you got so angry with like me
Because of Steve. I was angry at you because you're an idiot. I was angry at Steve because he was competent. Let's not pretend that I was angry at you because he's a threat and I'm going to lose and I'm getting salty. I was angry at Steve because he had chosen to go for me for obvious reasons and that he's very right to do that. And your idiot play made it easy for him.
That was really funny.
Oh
I
god,
enjoyed that.
That didn't end up going my way though, because I think it was Phil was the sheriff.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna realise that my interest was in shooting Darryl and not him, and that he'd shoot Darryl first, and he just went for me, so it didn't really work out.
The level of misplays in that particular game
So
of Bang drove me up the wall. I couldn't.
Darryl did actually win that game, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I think I did.
Yeah, because I, if I remember right, I think you were really angry at the end of the game, but you'd still won. I think.
I mean,
Wait, was it that? I can't.
We did
I think
play
he
two,
might
I
have
think.
won because he was the deputy.
Or was
and
it Phil won and
Phil,
you were
Phil
his
won.
deputy?
Phil won. Darryl was already dead, and he was the deputy.
But
Right,
we
yeah,
win. We
yeah,
won by
that's what
default,
it
I
was.
guess. But yeah,
Phil won. You watched.
yeah, I was an integral part to that.
Oh,
I don't
boy.
know. I think overall, I would say on a whole, I would say Steve, but that's based on board games as general. If it's into specific things, obviously Ian is tactically more sound than any of us.
100%.
So that
I reckon I'd make a decent Rommel.
yeah, probably would.
Another shout out for Erwin Rommel, World War II's best tank commander.
So, what I will say is one of the things that I tend to do when I play a game is I do genuinely go in all the time with the intention of winning, but I do like to see what if I tried doing this and experimenting with trying a certain route. But that's not to say that I'm not trying to win. I would say sometimes I just like to see it, and then I can try something else the next time I play. I don't like to play the exact same way every single time I play individual board games. So, do you know?
Yeah,
I
do know what you mean. Yeah, because I don't know. I do similar thing. I do things like that with games I'm comfortable with.
yeah,
If I'm playing a game for the first time, I'll go into it with like the sort of, oh right, well this is I think what I need to do to win. And if I've been playing a game a few times, I'll be like, I'm going to try and win this game by doing this.
Yeah.
So I think Quacks is a good example because you can sort of stack different tokens for like trying to win in different ways. So I think the last time I played Quacks, I tried something like, or I picked a token I never picked before and tried to win it like that.
Yeah.
I'm very much just I like playing the game. I don't care if I win.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm like a dog going on a walk.
To answer the question, I feel like Ian is probably the best board gamer out of the three of
And
us.
I think me and Ian are voting you, are we?
No, I'm
dunno.
voting me
Wow.
Yeah.
because I have the best win record
Oof.
Yep.
as a
It's true.
percentage. But
Humble.
that's not to say Steve is more knowledgeable than I am and a better person.
Yeah, much better. Much better.
I'm
Yay.
yeah.
Participation
Let's
award.
No, not even
clarify.
that. You are a much better person. All.
I am probably the worst human out of the three of us.
Yeah. Sometimes I even wonder if you are still human.
I am. I checked,
Barely.
but like I'm like literally one of the worst.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, with that, I think I will say that if you want to join us at all on the social medias, you can do at Everybody Dice on Twitter and at Everybody Dice Show on Instagram. Our Twitter handles are always on screen, so if you want to follow The Worst Humour in Life, or me, because I'm apparently a good person, or just Darryl, they're all on screen for you there as well. If you would like to follow us on Facebook, we have a Facebook page you can find at facebook.com/everybodydice. And if you would like to help us out a little bit more, you can do by going to patreon.com/everybodydice. And you can become a $1 patron for a number of goodies that we explained earlier in the show. So apart from that, if you would like to click maybe one of the videos that is on the side of the screen just here, maybe give us a like, share, and subscribe too if you haven't already. Apart from that, I guess we'll be seeing you next time around. See you then. Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.